Hi everyone, this is your girl Nikita, and welcome to the Perfectly Powerful You podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Perfectly Powerful You podcast. I'm your host, Nikita, and I trust, hope, and expect that you guys are all having a holly jolly festive day. We are probably right in the middle of December. By the time recording this, I'm currently in the past, but it's the present and or past and or future, maybe, for you. However, welcome. We are here for volume 3 of our 5-part money mindset shifting series for the month of December. I'm super pumped for this series. I love having even more money in my life. I love feeling even better about the money I do have. And I also love knowing that we can all be even greater stewardess of our financial resources and our love of and our relationship with money. So, in our last couple episodes, we talked about our self concept, and in the last podcast, we talked about shifting. And so, we're going to build upon our self concept, some money blocks that we have, shifting all those, and acting as the woman that we are in our vision, the person that we are in our vision for creating and living the life that we would love to live with the shifted mindset and the shifting mindset that is in alignment with the person not only that we would love to be, our next level of self, and to be able to transform that and continue to be and live the life that we would love to live. So, today I have a variety of tips and tricks and ways of being that not only increase and attract the amount of money that you will see in your life naturally, but also how you can just take the knowledge that we've used before by shifting our self concept, by switching it into higher order levels of being, but now transforming our thinking, our feeling into our actions. And remember our results formula. Our thinking creates our feelings create our behaviors, and behaviors create the results and actions in our life. So, everything starts with our thinking, but now we're at our being. So thank you all in advance for liking, subscribing, and supporting this community by leaving a 5-star review. It helps in creating even more radical content and growing this community so that we can share it with the people that deserve it and need it and would love it the most. So thank you for all of you for wherever you are at in supporting in the ways that you are, and I so appreciate you. And without further ado, let's get on with volume 3, acting in accordance with the wealth that you are deserving of. So remember that our behaviors support our beliefs. And if you are not already familiar with the new beliefs and mindset that you would love to have, make sure that you check out the volume 1 and volume 2 of this 5-part money mindset shifting series, because it's really going to help with this episode that we're doing today. But I would love to start off with budgeting. I know it's a hot and sexy topic. Ooh, I love a budget. But honestly, I think a budget is a fantastic way of telling your money where to go. When I was my most insecure and my most unfamiliar with my money and finding like I didn't have enough for the end of the month, it's because I didn't actually know and I didn't feel in control of my money. And that's because I had no idea. So when I felt and now I feel even more control of my money and even more confident, safe, and secure about where my money is going and telling my money where to go, I have a budget to help with that. A budget does not limit your freedom. In fact, it actually enhances it, because when you are able to understand all your totality of expenses as well as the totality of your income, you're able to see whether or not you are in a surplus or deficit and able to make informed decisions based on that. as well as when you're able to understand where your flow is going, like coming to you, and where your flow is going, you're able to see where you're able to make adjustments that feel the best and highest good for you. If you know that you're spending a lot of money on daily coffees, $5 a coffee for 30 days, I just did the math, is $150. Times that 150 by 12 months a year, and you have $1,800. That is a substantial amount of money over the course of 1 year. So you can think about what you could be doing and where you could be saving $5 a day and have $1,800 at the end of your year that you could be using towards whatever you would love. A trip could cost $1,800 as opposed to the coffee that you could be saving for your caffeinated beverage by making it at home or having it maybe every other day. It will save you and cut it in half if you're able to utilize your resources in the best way possible. And that's why I love starting off with the sexy subject of having a budget and being the person who is the highest stewardess of their resources by understanding where their flow is coming from and where their flow is going. I would love to also broach the subject of a shadow budget. A shadow budget is forecasting your expected and or desired income and expenses. This is how we next level our finances. And this is how we can have a lot of fun and play with this next level version of ourselves. I've been playing with a shadow budget for the past year or so. And this is helping me with putting myself into the vision of the woman that I would love to become and continue to become and gradually transform myself into becoming. A shadow budget is basically your expectations and your forecast. What would you love? What would you love for your finances and your income to be? How much would you love to see every single month? And based upon this increased amount of money that you're seeing every single month, what are you spending your money on? So, this is where you get to be as playful as you would love. Because again, there is no thought police. You get to think however you would love. You would get to use, and you have the authority to use your imagination however you would love. And since you want to increase your money anyways, why not start doing it now and start thinking already about the person that you are becoming that has this money already and start playing with it already. And so this is how I play with my money. And so I have the specific shadow budget with, oh my gosh, well, I would love to have like, I started with maybe 10,000 extra dollars a month, and then I upped it to $20,000 a month. And as I became like even more believable with this, I upped to 30, 40, 50. You can go as high as $100,000 a month, $1 million a month. The sky is the limit for you. But the idea is to also make it believable for your body. So if your next level version of you, say you're currently only making $5,000 a month, maybe you want to double it. Maybe you want to go to $10,000 a month and play with that, because sometimes when we desire to have an increased amount of flow of financial freedom and abundance in our life, we don't actually know how we use that money. What are we going to do with all this money? We know that we want money, but why do we want money? What are we going to do with all this money? This is how you can train your nervous system as well to get used to playing around with and becoming even more comfortable with an increased amount of money. And it doesn't have to be showing up in your life right now. This is just for playing. But this also helps gravitate money towards you because you're telling your energy, you're telling your mind, you're telling the universe that you're playing with and experiencing this level of income every single month. So, as I'm working with my normal budget, I'm also working with my shadow budget. And this is also to, again, have just an idea idea of where my income is coming in and where my expenses are going out, how I'm able to utilize that, as well as with a shadow budget, it's okay. Now I'm working with an even greater sense of money. Okay, awesome. I love this. I love having even more money. So, what would I do with all of this extra money? Well, am I planning a vacation? Okay, maybe I'll have an area in my life where so for your $10,000, maybe you're saying, maybe I'll put 2,000 of that towards my savings, and then maybe 2,000 of that towards a trip, and maybe the rest of it, maybe you're tithing 10% of it, and you can add a column for that. It's just playing around and seeing. Okay, so you want this level of increased income, but what are you actually going to do with it? How are you going to serve this greater expansion of yourself with this extra level of money that you have? We're using our imagination, we're playing with it because when maybe we're used to a specific set of a set point for our money, we might not even give ourselves the freedom, creativity, and imaginative experience to understand what it means to play with an increased level of income. But when we give ourselves permission to just play, have fun, and experience the feeling of a greater sense of financial freedom, then our energy starts to raise. We get more mental downloads of what it would feel like. Where would we want to put that money? And so when you're working with your budget, I encourage you to have a shadow budget as well of just what you would love to experience. Where is your money coming from? And this could be a really great way of up leveling yourself and playing around with your next level version of you and your vision self in order to bring it from outside of you into the present now. And this is coupled with my next point. Dream about the life that you would love to live with this increased level of income that you are experiencing. Remember, our imagination, our play is our best friend in this instance. And this is because you're going to create a life anyways. Would you love to create it by default, i.e., the thoughts and feelings and actions that you've been thinking and feeling and acting upon up until now, which is creating the same level of results in your life, some of which you love, some of which you probably don't? Or would you love to create a life by design? Remember, your thinking causes your feelings cause your action creates your result. When you change your thinking and your feeling, you change your actions. So when you start thinking as your dream, when you start thinking and feeling that you are living the life that you would love, you start to naturally behave in a way that is in alignment with this version and this vision self that you are mentally creating in your life. So have fun, go nuts. You are the highest authority of your life. And it's really fun knowing that, again, there's no thought police. You can think and dream up and play with yourself and this vision self that you are dreaming however you would love. And the more familiar, the more comfortable, the more in tuned you are with this vision self who's living the life that you would love to live, eventually it becomes your life. Slowly and surely, over time, compounded, this becomes a dominant part of your life. And so that's why when you're playing with your shadow budget, you're experiencing a higher level frequency and feeling state in your body, even at the level of fact it's not in your life right now. That's okay. We're playing and we're establishing a foundation right now of an increased level of sense of self and financial abundance. And you can just start playing with that in your head. So when you become familiar and you have a clear vision and blueprint for the life that you'd love to live, the person that you are being, how she is thinking, how she is feeling, then you eventually become that person the more you get familiar with her. And so from Ramsey Solutions, one of the websites that I've been perusing for having a lot of the information for the series, they mentioned that if you can see your dream in every detail, if you can fix your eyes upon it, then I know that you can muster the effort that you need to hit your numbers. And this is because your next level version of you has goals and dreams far bigger than what you're thinking and feeling right now. She already knows, she's had the level of experience, she's had all the things you're thinking of, she's currently experiencing them now. And she is thinking about even greater possibilities. Her your future self, that what you're thinking of for the next level of version of you, she's already experiencing it. And that's why you get clear with who it is that you want to become, how she's thinking, how she's feeling, how she's acting, how she's dressing, because she's making different choices based upon this increased sense of financial abundance and wealth, safety, security, and confidence, and a greater relationship with her finances. And that is why maybe up until now you haven't been thinking in the way that's in alignment with this next level version of you. But if you go back to episode 1 and 2 for figuring out your self-concept ideas and then shifting them, you're able to use that as a catalyst for acting in a way and in alignment with the vision self that you are now becoming. So I want you to fall in love. Fall in love with your ideal life and remind yourself about it enough to motivate you and keep yourself working towards your goals and dreams. So, in reference back to the shadow budget, you already are playing with emotionally and mentally with this newfound sense of financial freedom and liberation. You're already telling yourself with your shadow budget that you are having this level of increase in your life. What are you doing with it? Fall in love with what you're doing with your money. Are you giving back to the places you want to give back to, like this organization that really touches your heart and has benefited you in your life and those around you? Are you taking your friends out for dinner to treat them just because you can? Are you moving into a bigger house? Are you adopting a new puppy? Are you buying that new jacket that you've always wanted? Are you relaxing more and working less? Dwell within this dream and then take action upon it. Because when you start asking yourself, how can I and what action step can I take to move me in the direction of this dream? You are now transforming that maybe possible version of your reality and making it your reality. And when you dwell within and you fall in love with this vision, this blueprint, this design, this next level version of you, this next life that you would love to create and live and experience as if it was your own, it becomes your own, then you let it come to life. And dwelling within it and thinking accordingly and feeling accordingly are all very important steps because you can't get anywhere that you don't know where you're going. That's why we dwell in the dream. That's why we lift ourselves up. That's why we have a vision for where we want to go so we can take action steps in service of the dream. So when we're thinking in alignment with this vision, like, what is this woman thinking? What is this next version of me thinking? How is she feeling? Well, when you fall in love with that dream that you have for that next level version of you, you continue to come back to it, you write it down every day, you feel into it as often as you can, and you do your best to live as many moments in the frequency of this life that you would love to live, this frequency and this feeling state continues to motivate you to make it happen. So, yes, you think differently because you're changing your self concept. Again, refer to the episode that I just did. And then you're shifting those thoughts so they become your dominant mental state. And when this becomes your dominant thinking, your dominant feeling, and you fall in love with it, and you see that there's still a gap between where you are now and where you want to go, when you fall in love with something, you stop at nothing to make it happen. But At the same time, when you start to change your thinking and feeling, you act in accordance with it, it no longer becomes something outside of you. It becomes you and it becomes your life. And that's why you have your goals. Your goals are amazing. Your goals to have education for your family, your goal for that new house, your goal for that new jacket that you would love. These are all things that help motivate you to keep you going for your financial goals. And at the level of fact, even if it's not something you're able to do right now, there are always action steps that you can take in service of your dream. And so, this is why I continue to tell my clients, what action step can you take? Because there's always something that you can take in service of your dream. When you're thinking different thoughts, you're feeling different feelings, you're getting in tuned and in touch with your dream self. You are now in alignment with that version of you that's already experiencing this. And you are connecting to that version of you that's already experiencing that higher level, higher frequency, higher order state of being. And when you can become so familiar with who she is, what she's thinking about, how she's feeling, how she's behaving, you will get, and I promise you, you will get mental downloads for how you can take a step forward in the direction of your dream. So you can ask yourself, what is one action step that I can take to move me in the direction of my dream? If it's the house you've always wanted, if it's the jacket you've always wanted, if it's the education for your child that you've always wanted. There's something that you can do that your next level version of you already has done. She already knows and she has the answer. And when you connect to her, then you are able to access the same information that she has for you. So, the next tip that I have for you is being a person of increase by tithing your money. Tithing your money means that you are freely allowing money to go out of your life in a place that serves the highest good. It can be anywhere. I love tithing to my local aquarium and my local church, or breast cancer, or anywhere that really suits my fancy on a weekly basis, because when you are regularly tithing, what you're saying to the universe is that there is not only enough for yourself, there's also enough for others. And when you are allowing money to freely go and come into your life, just like your breath, the money continues to easily come into and out of your life. For myself, I practice a 10% tithing on a weekly basis. If 10% feels like too much for you and your nervous system is on fire at 10%, I recommend picking a number that feels that it's a stretch, but it doesn't mean that you're impacting your ability to pay for your bills or your other expenses. So you pay yourself first. This is what I do: is I pay myself first. I pay my expenses first, and then whatever I have left over, 10% of that gets tied somewhere else. So, energetically, we live in a world that is based upon vibration. If you're thinking thoughts like money doesn't come easily and money comes into my life but it leaves just as easily, and you're acting and you're feeling in a way that money is constricting and that money does not freely come into your life, then you're acting in accordance with constriction and scarcity and lack. That energetically continues to bring lack, scarcity, and constriction. Therefore, we transform, we uno reverse this and go from lack, scarcity, and constriction to we go to free flowing, expansive abundance. And this is because, again, we are self fulfilling prophecies. Not only is this woo woo stuff, energetically, we're all vibrating at a frequency. If we give out this frequency of lack and scarcity, we bring back lack and scarcity. Biologically, again, remember the result formula. What we think creates what we feel, creates our actions, creates our results. If we're thinking scarcity, we feel scarce, we act scarce, our results are scarcity. So, this is why we must think differently. When we think abundance, we feel abundance. We act in accordance with abundance, and therefore, abundance is our life. This is why we tithe. Not only does it signal to the universe there's not only enough and then some in your life, it also is a self-fulfilling prophecy where you are regularly, again, in and out of your life, the flow of money. So just like the law of receiving says, in order to enact the law of receiving, first we must give. We can't expect heat from a fire if we do not give it wood first. This is why, if we want to naturally increase anything in our life, first we must give. And this is why you can use tithing as a way to naturally increase the amount of money that you receive in your life by doing it systematically. This is why I do it regularly every week, because if I regularly outflow and give my money, I expect a regular inflow of money back. This is because, again, we're signaling to the universe there's enough going out, and the universe says, oh, well, she's constantly focusing on money and giving it out. There, she must want it back. And then it comes in fluidly. And you can one up yourself by counting and keeping track of where and how much you're giving on a weekly, on a bi-weekly, on a monthly basis, where you're tithing your money. Because again, where your energy goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. So if you're keeping track of where you're giving, you're focusing on money and where you're giving. And then to couple that, you can keep track of where you're receiving, because then you're telling your mind to focus on where you're receiving. So you're having a well-rounded view of not only where you're receiving money, because it's really, really wonderful to receive money. I know I love receiving money. And wealthy people know that they have enough. And so that's why they usually give. And so it also just feels so good to give. And when you can continue to collect evidence in service of your generosity, you feel even better about yourself and how you are a person of increase. And when you continue to collect evidence and create that substantial foundation of generosity, then not only do you just feel better about yourself, but you're also increasing your capacity and level of financial abundance by regularly outflowing and inflowing the amount of money in your life. On the podcast, Money, Mindset, and Manifestation with Rosie Harris, I heard her mentioning, and this is for our next tip and trick, is to hang out with people who make more money than you. And this is because we are our five closest people. We often are attracted to those, and we attract those who are like us, like minded. And if you would love to shift your mindset and your behavior, it's understandable that you start hanging out with those who are already living the life that you would love to live. Kind of like if you want to be a doctor, you start going to school to become a doctor. You start hanging out with students who are also wanting to become doctors. You start dressing like it, start acting like it, you start thinking like it becomes your life. Same thing with money. If you would love to increase the amount of money in your life, you start hanging out with people who are already making more money. You start to dress like them. You start to talk like them. You start to think like them. You start to feel like them. You're having conversations about how you can increase your financial wealth, what you're already doing with all the wealth that you have. And this is because people who have an already substantial increased level of income are higher vibrational people than maybe where you're at right now. And then you can use that energy and be involved in that energy sphere and start to take note, to start really thinking and behaving in a way that is serving your next level version of you. Because when we're continuing to hang out with and involving ourselves with our default pattern of thinking, then it's understandable that we're going to continue to have the same results that we are used to. But when we shift what we're thinking, feeling, and who we're hanging out with, how we're behaving, it is natural that our results are going to change because we're involving ourselves with different people in a different lifestyle who are creating different results and even greater results for what we would love. This is the energy of expansion. It allows you to see and witness what is possible for you because there are already people doing it. When you're hanging out and having conversations with people who have a scarcity mindset, who are hoarding money, who aren't giving generously, who don't think that they are able to become millionaires, then you are going to continue to think and be in that way. But when you're in the energy of expansion, it is natural that expansion shall be you. And something else that Rosie mentions is that your network is your net worth. And then it's again because you are surrounding yourself with high vibrational people who have knowledge, resources, education, and a mindset that is different from maybe the one that you are operating on right now, but it means that you can transform your current dominant mindset and feeling and behaviors in order to receive and have the results that you would love and to move yourself in the direction of the life that you would love living. So, my next tip and trick, and the final tip and trick for becoming and being the person of increase and having increase of financial wealth in your life is to have income goals and to write them down every single day. I like to write mine down twice a day because it really ingrains in my mind. And again, we're changing our neural connections here. Um, what I would love to see. Because again, if we're constantly focused on what we are seeing in our circumstances and conditions right now, i.e., what your current level of income is, you're only going to continue to see your current level of income because you're focusing on your current level of income. When you focus on your goals, you're telling your mind something greater than what you see right now. And you are more likely to see those results of an increased amount of level of income in your life because you're focusing on something greater than your conditions. This is psychology. This is also part of the magic of the universe. When you focus on something greater than your conditions, then you're going to receive something greater than your conditions because your conditions, circumstances, and way of being right now is only because of a dominant way that you've been thinking up until now. When you can think greater than and be greater than your conditions, you are going to see an increase because you are telling your current level of thinking, feeling, and behavior now for your future results. So, one way that, again, Rosie from the Money Mindset and Manifestation podcast says is that I am grateful for making $30,000 this month. Increase or insert whatever amount of money feels good for you, but I also encourage you to make it believable for your nervous system. If your body, like if you're thinking, I'm so happy and grateful now, I'm making like $1 million this month, then your body doesn't know what $1 million means. It doesn't understand, it can't resonate with it. So I would encourage you to maybe double your income if that feels good, but check in with your body. Does it feel believable to double the amount of money that you see? But also, I'd love for you to stretch it. Don't, I would encourage you to, instead of making it what you think is possible, make it believable, but make it a stretch. So if right now you're making $10,000 a month, what would doubling it feel like? What would tripling it feel like? What would 10xing it feel like? When you can get a gauge of what it feels like, focus on that number and what you would love to see and start acting and saying it as if it's now. When you are thinking in future tense, you're thinking in future tense. When you're thinking in the past, you're thinking in the past. But when you're able to say, oh man, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making $30,000 a month, $40,000, $50,000 a month, whatever feels good for you, your mind starts to go to work and saying, oh man, like I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm receiving $30,000 a month in income. And then it's able to resonate with your body, and you're able to, again, just like the shadow budget, You're able to acclimatize your body with the idea that you are making that. And I would also encourage you to couple this with a goal chart, just like with the goal chart for having the house or the new jacket or the education. When you are focusing on a goal and writing it down, again, you're making neural connections, you're strengthening that, but you're also continue to motivate yourself in order to make it happen. When you have a goal like raising money for your next house, or raising money towards your education, or raising money towards a jacket, when you have that big goal, even if it's not at your level of awareness right now to make it happen, when you have something to work towards, you're more likely to achieve it. And that's why you fall in love with your dream, because when you have a goal to move you in direction of your dream, you know that you're going to stay on track. But not only that, you're also going to give yourself evidence of why it is possible for you to make an even greater level of income. Because when you have something you fall in love with, something you really want to make happen, and you write it down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making $30,000 a month. And I have this goal to keep me on track with it. And every single time money comes to me, you write it down and say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm only $29,500 away from my goal because $500 just came to me. And then again, you are using your reticular activating system to focus on money, to filter out all the ways why it's not working out, and why, when you're saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have more money in my life, now more money is coming to me. Reticular activating system filters out everything that is not money, and you are continue to focus on it. You're going to continue to see it, and you're going to continue to naturally increase it because you are focusing on where money is coming to you. You have a goal to keep you motivated, and you have an affirmation that you're writing down constantly. Again, I recommend twice a day to be able to increase the resonance in your nervous system of having that much. And I'll leave you with, remember, where your attention goes, energy flows. When you're focusing on the fact that money is coming to you, that you have an increased sense of money, that you are receiving more money, that your financial liberation is increasing, they're feeling more confident about your money. All of that continues to grow. Your thoughts are like seeds that you're planting in your brain. When you're planting amazing thought seeds and you're fertilizing them, and you continue to grow them, water them with your energy, it is just natural, just like a plant, that it will grow. So when you're thinking that you can't do it, that it's not possible for you, the money always leaves you, that you're never going to reach your goals, to remember that is what you're going to get because that is what you're focusing your attention on. So when you have a clear goal, you have something you're writing down for your affirmation every day, you're not allowing anything else to penetrate your mind other than your goal, other than your dream. And you're serving it with evidence by tracking what you want to see and how you are the one making it happen. And that's confidence boosting, that's empowering, that's self respecting. And even when you lose motivation along the way, because sometimes we do, we have enough willpower to kind of get us started sometimes, but we won't always have the same motivation and drive on a day-to-day basis. And that's why when we are constantly reaffirming things, even when we don't have that same level of drive or energy to move in that direction, we will naturally continue to move in that direction because we're focusing on where we want to go. And if we're focusing on how it's not possible, when we don't have enough motivation or drive, we're going to naturally default to that it's not possible. But when we continue to reaffirm and reconnect and recommit to our goals and recommit to our dream because we fell in love with it, then it is natural that we will continue to move in that direction. And that is how we become a person of increase because we're focusing on where increase is already in our life. And we've started to create a foundation with our budget, with surrounding ourselves with like minded individuals, with having a goal in mind because we fell in love with our dream. And all of these are creating a well rounded view of the fact that you are a person already of increase. And this is why having again, in my last podcast, when you change your self concept and then you shift your new way of thinking for something even more expansive, and now you're acting in a way that is expansive, you start to become that person. Even if it's not already all at once, it will be compounded over time, your dominant results. And you will know this because when you look to the world around you and you start seeing these positive results, you know that is from the way that you're thinking and feeling and behaving in a way that is this dominant version of you, that is this next level version of you, that is this higher order of version of you in the realm of money, who is the woman who is the highest stewardess of her resources, who is the woman who's confident in her money, who does allow money to easily leave her life and welcomes it even more. And that is how we become and continue to behave in a way that attracts even more money. So thank you all for sitting down with me today. I hope and I hope that it was enlightening and inspiring for you. I hope that there were some tips or tricks that are motivating you to get started with being a woman of increase. I am so happy for being part 3 in the 5-part series, and I know you're going to love the next one with Susie for deep diving into how she serves her clients even more. And if you haven't already done so, please give this video a 5-star review, like and subscribe for wherever you are at, because it helps in creating even more awesome content. And thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I look forward so much to seeing you next week and was talking to you all very, very soon. Hello, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this video in the Money Mindset series. This is a special reminder that spots are filling up for my Dream Building beta group happening in the new year. There's only 5 spots, and this one-time offer is a third of the price I normally offer for my Dream Building group. So I recommend if you're super ready to not only transform your health, your relationships, your vocation, and your time and money freedom, that you check out the link in the description box below, reserve your spot on the wait list, and really get connected to the vision of the life that you would love to live.
Thank you all for joining me today, because it's my absolute pleasure to be here with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts about today's content and any inspirational words of wisdom you'd love to share. I'd also love if you would leave a 5-star review on whatever platform it is you're listening to this on, because it helps in creating even more awesome content. May your day be filled with only love and light, and I look forward to talking with you all real soon.